Hi, I'm Brandon, and I'm holding the MoP one-day course, intensive one-day course next week with you guys. And here's some notes that you can go through before that time. So I'm going to share screen and I'm going to share the PDF that I've made. It's a simplified version of the MoP book, and I go through that so that you guys will be even more ready for that one day. MoP is about doing the right things at the right time. So we're talking about effective and efficient. Effective is about creating the effect that we want, and the efficient is about doing it the right way. So the right things the right way. That's basically the idea of MoP. And the main term behind management of portfolios is strategic objectives. Strategic objectives. So Prince 2 and projects can be about products, and program management can be about benefits, but management of portfolios, the key word here is strategic objectives. So there's some definitions that you can look through, definitions of what a portfolio is, what portfolio management is, and you need to know these definitions for the exam that you guys will be passing after one day on the MoP course. So, and there are a little bit different definitions maybe than you've seen in other methods or other books. So you just need to recognize these in a multiple choice exam. And the same definitions are given in Norwegian on the right. Your exam will be in English. And so these are on the left-hand side here. Principles. MoP has 5 key principles. I'm going to go through them as fast as possible now. Senior management commitment, which means that the right level of senior management commitment needs to be walking the talk, needs to be the people on stage presenting, MoP presenting, portfolio. This is what we're going to do ahead. That's senior management commitment. Imagine, visualize you've got some senior leader that wants to push portfolio management. Or more formal portfolio management, they want to push this. That person is on stage introducing and showing real senior management commitment, making decisions along the way. Governance alignment. Governance, we simplify it down to decisions, how to make decisions, and who's creating decisions, when are they doing it. So governance alignment, there is governance already in an organization, and what we want with portfolio management is to be aligned with that governance that already exists. We can't create something different. Strategy alignment is something very similar, that an organization has a strategy of where they're going, a 2-year, 3-year, 5-year strategy, and portfolio management needs to be aligned to that. And anytime the organization enterprise strategy changes, then portfolio management obviously needs to align and keep on continually align the strategy. So strategy alignment is crucial. The portfolio office is a bit of a strange principle to have, but it's this independent of delivery office that should be paying for itself and has this status of helping the projects to succeed and helping the top management to be able to take the right decisions. So they're in one way a secretary type role that's there to boost collaborative working across projects, to boost skills, and to help progress reports along the way. The last principle is something called an energized change culture. And in the middle of MoP, remember that we differentiate between MoP and portfolio management. In the middle of MoP, we have something called this change, this energized organizational energy. And that's what MoP says that it needs to succeed. We need some form of productive, energized change culture to get MoP in place. As opposed to a resigned type energy where we've given up, lights on, nobody home type role or type of energy. We want the productive, energized change culture. That's why this picture here shows organizational energy and how we can get that in place. So there's 2 cycles. There's the definition cycle and the delivery cycle. The definition cycle is sequential. First, we understand what's in the portfolio and what might come into the portfolio in the period ahead. Then we categorize to make it simpler. So we categorize projects and programs to make it simpler of the makeup of the portfolio. Then we prioritize based on criteria that we have from some form of management board. We need to prioritize based on criteria. After we prioritize, we're going to balance on different factors. It can be on geographical area, it can be on organizational heat maps, it can be on timing, There's different things on resources, different things that we can balance on. And after that, then we have a plan. So we have some form of a strategy and delivery plan for the next period, 1 year, 2 years ahead. That might change, but that's the idea. So we do sequentially understand, categorize, prioritize, balance, or plan. That's called the definition cycle. At the same time, non-stop, everything in the delivery cycle is always happening. So it's not sequential. We have simultaneous practices, 7 of them on the delivery cycle. Management control, keep control of what's happening. So everything about progress reports, management control. Every type of templates given out to projects, management control. Benefits management. The only reason that we're doing things is to get benefits. If we're not actively tracking benefits, we're passively not tracking benefits. So benefits management is a huge area about optimizing, realizing, and evaluating benefits out of projects in the portfolio. Financial management, rule number 1, how to get better portfolio management and how to get MoP running in real life. Be best friends with the ones working with the experts in financial management. We can't have different cycles of financial management and portfolio management not talking to each other, not being best friends, not discussing, not using the expertise where we have it. So we need to link into financial management. Risk management, again, exactly the same. There's all of these different projects. Let's say we have 40 projects, and in each project, everybody says that they have control over risk, but portfolio collectively, do we have collective control of risk? For example, this aggregated risk or over reliance on a single supplier across projects, where we see if something happens, one of our suppliers, the domino effect that can have across our projects. Stakeholder engagement, how to define stakeholders, how to do stakeholder analysis, and how to get our stakeholders really engaged, but not to do it in projects, but make sure that we're doing this at a portfolio collective level. Stakeholder engagement. There's lots of ways that we can use this, all of this crazy technology around us to get better stakeholder engagement. Organizational governance, again, we're back to this word governance, and escalation paths and escalation procedures, and who's taking what decisions, where they're taking it, how they're taking it, which method are they using. So everything about decisions and organizational governance is happening, and we need to tap into that as well. And resource management, this idea that we can get resource management, unbelievably difficult to get it running at the strategic and operational level. Strategic, yeah, no problem, but if we don't fix it at the strategic level, we'll definitely see it downstream, where we'll see this thing called the bottlenecks downstream, where people are fighting over resources. So the idea here is, and even in the MoP book, it says that this is more of an art than it is a science. And how can we do strategic resource management of supply and demand and get that into operational day-to-day project running? It's not easy. So this is really the big picture in this material. The organizational energy, this is basically this diagram on the right here, this productive energy, and this is based on a book. It's How to Ignite High Performance Teams. I'll get the name of the book. It's actually, it's bullet point 23 in the MoP book. I haven't got it in front of me, but it's bullet point 23. And the book name is going to come right back to me in a second. I can't remember that, but it's basically this on how to measure, how to track, how to be aware of when a team, when an organization is in productive energy, to get this energy that's required to take a next step change. So the definition cycle in the material, you'll see here is a really simple explanation of what the definition cycle includes. It's sequential practices, and yeah, I'll tell you that I can share like lots of real life, what we've done in real life, this in different organizations, and the value of doing it, and how to do it fast, how to do it iterative to get the learning running. First time we do this, it's not going to be great. The second time we get a little bit better each time. The simultaneous practices, there's 7 practices, they all happen at the same time. They are all happening right now. And that's the fun thing about it, is that how can portfolio management tap into these? There's 9 different techniques for portfolio management. These techniques are used across all of the practices. There's 5 practices in the definition cycle. There's 7 practices in the delivery cycle. And here's 9 different techniques that are used all across the place. For example, staged release of funding, staged release of funding means that we don't just give a project, here's all of the money you need to run your project. So we're dividing projects and programs up into stages, and based on the benefits, based on the business justification of the project, then we're releasing more funding for further stages. So there's lots of different techniques here. I'm going to go through those and be able to see where they're being used at different parts in the definition cycle and the delivery cycle. Functions, there's key functions that existing in the organization that we have to work with. If we don't work with these, then portfolio management, or at least MoP, will be really difficult. For example, let me just take one: performance management. If we don't understand how people are being measured in their job, how they have to report and which KPIs, etc., on an individual level, on a team level, department level, project level, if portfolio management is measuring on something different, then we're going to get a clash. The simple way of explaining this would be that, how are people getting paid? What bonus systems exist today? And if that's what people are being paid for bonuses today, then we can't expect that portfolio management, that we're going to do something totally different. So these are functions that we need to link up to. This whole idea of cascading balanced scorecards, etc., all the way from strategy down to operations. That's what we need to link into in performance management. And there's 6 key functions that MoP says that we need to link into. Tips on how to implement sustain and measure, page 10, half of page 10 and page 11 in the book is really nice. There's the 7 steps to a staged implementation. Read those, really nice. It should be a book on its own. And also page 46 and 47. There's a half a page of 46 and half a page 47, which is really nice as well. Again, should be a book in itself. The best pages in the book, I think, as long as you can ask the questions, what does that mean for us specifically? So here's the 7 steps. That's basically from page 10 in the MoP book, I think. Then we're going to go through that. If you do stage 1 in most organizations, if you do step one on this evolutionary implementation, in most organizations, you get a huge win. There's roles. We'll go through these roles, who approves what, who's making decisions, etc. So the roles are included in this, and you'll be tested on those in the exam. There's basically an investment committee who makes a decision, a delivery committee who fixes things, a change director who's a champion and leads the implementation, a portfolio manager who has a secretary role, and a benefits manager who's only focused on benefits collectively for the portfolio. There's documentation. The documentation includes all of these. There's some high-level documentation. The portfolio strategy and delivery plan is a high-level document, and then we've got lower-level documents. So what's in a portfolio strategy and delivery plan? For example, a lower-level financial plan with financials per month. What's in a portfolio strategy and delivery plan? High-level financials, for example, annual for the year. That one, not going through assessing. Great. That is as fast as possible intro I can give to have you ready for the 1-day intensive MoP course. It'll be fun. This should be a good challenge. Nobody's ever failed this exam, this MoP exam with me, and you guys aren't going to be the first. So we'll definitely fix this and drill you guys along the way so that we're able to take theory from MoP and link that up to something that you have in real life, and then just drill on the exam questions so that you'll all get passed at the end of that day. That's the best time to take the exam, at the end of that day when I'm finished with you. See you guys next week.